Are you willing to do what it takes to win, Dan?
Maybe.
Put that NIL money in
It
there.
was for robotics or like the debate team, maybe.
Okay, got it.
Not for boys volleyball. I love you,
Cut
Dan.
in half.
Producers yelling cut over here.
Anyway,
We're back.
we're back.
Episode 2.
Why are we doing
Honestly,
this?
this is like episode.
Still a question.
This is episode 2, but we've filmed 2 half episodes in between episode 1 and 2.
It's
So
been
it's
a
really
full week.
episode 4.
On location, yeah.
Yeah, it's
That was a
episode 2
big
on
deal.
location. And honestly, this is a different location than last time.
We're always on
Mix it up.
location.
It's cold. It's cold in the garage, so we're here now.
We've filmed out there, we've filmed in there, we've filmed down here. Yeah, we're just mixing it up.
We just got to keep people on their toes.
Yep.
We've also been on a VolleyBender, so I think we should talk about our VolleyBender.
We've been on January VolleyBender. Chad and I, over the last couple years, have been consistently going on December VolleyBender, which has included going to SoCal Cup, to the final
AVCA,
women's
yeah.
AVCA convention and Final Four, then back on a plane to Power League finals.
Sure.
So it's like an 11-day.
Yeah.
One of those
Bender.
things is not like the other. Let's be real.
All of them are. There's a hierarchy of those events.
I think
Number 1 is the Final Four. Number
Yeah.
2 is SoCal Cup, and number 3,
Can
and
you-
last is NCAA.
Can you fill in the viewers on the Final Four and what that entails? 'Cause I don't think people really understand what goes down at this event.
Yeah, so I've been going,
How many have you been to?
8, 9 at this point. So
I've been to 27.
Yeah, but we'll get into a topic of why you've been to 27 at a later date.
Okay,
I think that's a topic on the docket
Sure.
that may or may not be a joke.
sure.
Yeah, I started going in 2014, and originally it's like, oh, you go to these sessions and you learn a bunch of stuff, and it's like, oh, this is great. I'm here to learn, and then like the more you get to know people, and like
The less you learn,
you go well, sure, but like you just go to no
or
sessions.
the more you learn.
It's a different kind of education.
Sure. It's
and
a convention for volleyball coaches and people to go to learn about volleyball, and then also there's games being played.
Sure.
Like the women's games, or
Yes, the women's
All-
games.
within the game.
Yeah.
Also those.
It is mostly a social get together for a group of professionals who are busy the rest of the year.
Sure.
Right. And so this is really the only time everybody gets to see each other. So we get to see people we see, one time for 4 days a year, and they end up, of course, they're some of our closest friends.
What's the
name
are
of
you?
that party, by the way? That you guys
Cacker.
Oh, the CACR, the
CACR.
Cool Ass Assistant Coaches Reception.
Cacker party.
That's like the rager of
Party of the year.
Yeah.
It used to be small, was
Hosted
my
by
understanding, but now it
No
is-
other than Joe Jablonski.
and now it's been corporate.
Yep.
Now it's big time. We got sponsors.
Cacker parties.
Is AAU picking up the tab?
Oh,
on
yeah.
it? They pick up the tab.
Mhm.
You need to buy
Yep.
tickets.
You
Yeah,
do
yeah.
need to buy
All right,
tickets.
so you buy tickets.
2 free
Okay.
drinks.
So you guys followed up December VolleyBender.
Oh, so we have so much fun on December VolleyBender every year that we were like, let's make January VolleyBender.
Yeah, it's not a problem.
Technically, I've got February VolleyBender coming up too.
I'm going to Hawaii too.
Hawaii, and then I'm going to Capitol Hill. You want to come to Capitol Hill?
0%.
Okay, damn.
You actually do want to go to Capitol Hill.
Yes, you
That's a
do.
lot.
I don't want to
totally
work
do.
Capitol Hill.
No,
too.
yeah, you don't wanna
but,
work
like
it.
you want to go.
I can hang out, but like, I
Sure.
don't want to work.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna
we
bring
got
so
you.
maybe-
You can
February.
come hang out with me.
We
We'll
can go February
Are you
VolleyBender.
gonna like not do that much?
Yeah, I've got children.
I don't have children.
Exactly, but like I'm gonna go do fun things.
We going to the zoo?
The
We could do
zoo's
the zoo.
sick. The zoo is sick in DC.
Big zoo guy.
To the zoo.
Our producer Bob over here. Big zoo guy.
Bob is ecstatic about the zoo.
Bob
Just threw
loves
up
the
double
zoo.
shock
Bob
us over
loves
here.
the zoo.
Oh man, Bob.
All
Good
right,
for
so 30 to 90% chance I'm in DC. Great.
Okay,
Sold.
so February VolleyBender will be coming.
All right, so now you guys have literally a quarter of the year is a VolleyBender.
And I come over to your house on a Tuesday night
Sure.
to drink another.
Yes.
This is your fault.
It's so fun though.
This is good stuff.
Okay, so we decided
that's fair.
to turn January into a little stint of VolleyBender, which included going again to SoCal Cup for 4 days, and then going.
We really went to the Emmys, and they were happy to be
We did,
volleyball.
yes.
Yeah.
We went to the Emmys, and then there was volleyball, and then we flew back for a day, and then we flew. Oh, you were on Thursday, so you had 2 days.
I had a good 36
I had
hours.
1 day for laundry, and then I flew to Austin, Texas.
POV of Austin. Yes, POV of Austin. Year 3, Stanford going to First Point Collegiate Challenge. We've got a Texas kid on the team,
Oh,
Nathan
yeah.
Litsky. His parents run the boys tournament and the girls tournament that goes on at the same time, and they do an awesome job. They're big in the volleyball world, and they kind of set up this kind of men's collegiate showcase in the preseason. So the first year we went, it was good. It was a good event, but like the overall level of the tournament was lower. Last year got a little better. We had Hawaii when they were ranked number 1, but still like not full, like every team being legitimate contenders. This year, everyone's top 15. All the teams were legit. We got number 1 UCLA. We got Ohio State, who was number, I think, 5 or 4 at the time.
5.
Top of the MIVA.
They were
top
number
of the
5.
MIVA. Penn State's top of the EVA.
Yeah.
They were at 7. Stanford was 8, and USC was like 11. So everyone's like legit teams, big names.
Ball State too. Good
and
team.
Ball State,
Good
excuse me.
squad.
Ball State, I think was 13
Yep.
at the time of the ranking.
A
Right? So,
much
like,
better cohort for sure.
yeah, a very good level across the board for all the teams. And each year they do a clinic the day before the tournament begins for the boys and the girls, and the day before play begins. For
Girls
the
are there
actual
too.
but not for what the boys clinic we do. There were girls in some like recruiting showcase.
Okay, sure.
But the main thing is it's a fundraiser for the First Point Foundation, which is trying to create more opportunities for boys volleyball in the collegiate setting. So adding men's volleyball programs. The first year we did it, there was like 60 kids in the clinic. Second year we did it, there was 120, and then this year there was just under 200. And so you can kind of see like these little barometers of like how things are going, and the overall level. Walking around in the club setting, also there was some good level that was being played. It's not the highest level in comparison to like an AAU event or a SoCal Cup event, but there are definitely teams where you can kind of see some really good pieces and some really good kids that are playing. So that part's been kind of cool to see us going back for now 3 years, and then obviously getting to see Nathan, the homegrown Austin kid, getting to play in his hometown is not something that would have ever happened without a group like the Litskis and what they run coming in and putting something together. And they did a really professional job. So I'd love to hear like what you guys think about it, what you saw actually being at the event this year in comparison to like.
Well, I mean,
going to a normal thing.
Yeah, for me, real quick, I mean, like Glenn and I met Kathy for the first time this year. I mean, it's so obvious that they are like the right folks to be running something like that.
For sure.
And you can just tell because I mean, I've been there now for 2 of the 3 years, and just the amount of butts and seats, right? Like the number of kids that are interested in coming over to go watch the men's collegiate game. It was packed for because they play three matches kind of in a row, right? Like a 1:34 and a 6:30 or whatever that was, and maybe not that first one, right? Because people are still kind of finishing out their pools from the morning, but the second and third matches, I mean, there were fans all the way up to the top, right? And we haven't had that problem before.
We tried to guess how many people were in the building. Me and Keith thought maybe just under 2,000.
Yeah. Yeah,
that sounded like around.
We can fact check that.
Around 2,000.
Yeah, probably something like that. But I mean, like they had the same setup the past couple of years, right? And the bleachers were maybe half full, and now it's like, wow, like Stanford's playing, whoever, it's to the top, right? UCLA's, oh man, they're coming to watch Merrick, right? Because Merrick was an Austin Juniors kid too, right? Along with Litsky, and you have people now coming out not only from the boys' side, but like the Texas women's team, right? We were sitting with Maddie Skinner for a little bit back in the stands. It's like, wow, like this is, you have people that are really interested in this, and the community that the Litskis have been able to form around this event is really, really cool.
No, it's definitely a little hotbed of like growing the sport and everything. It was an awesome event.
Yeah, I mean, you could just see also just what they've kind of put into it too, like production value wise, right? They got. Like last year when it was year 2 of the event, they brought in the Hawaii production crew to kind of run all of the video and the actual production of the games. This year they had Flow Volleyball, which is some people have pains with because it's a little bit more expensive in terms of like watching the event, but did a really good job of kind of Flow Volleyball is actually based in Austin, or Flow Sports is based in Austin. So they did a ton of content around the players, the coaches. They did media interviews and a number of different things. But like they keep on trying to take another step with each year what they do. So this year they brought in like all of the GER floors. They bought the floors from the women's national championship.
Tampa.
and brought that in. And so just kind of always elevating the space. And they always ask for feedback. But I thought one of the really cool things that I saw behind the scenes with the Litskis is why they do what they do. So they, during the clinic that they run before the event that takes place, all of the teams that are participating come in, and for 20 minutes, each of the 6 teams run basically a drill. And so you get to work with the players, work with the coaches, and hear from the coaches, and they all kind of do their thing. And at the end of that, they pay all the players, right? They pay them $100,
oh, nice.
Amazon gift card for the 20 minutes, right? So they're getting paid to be there too. And Kathy gave this great speech about like why they are doing what they do. And number one is the idea of players needing to see it to achieve it, right? So having a bunch of Texas boys who don't have a college program that they get to go see, like we're spoiled getting to have Stanford in our backyard to go see Stanford and all the other schools play. They want to bring that in so Texas boys can see what it looks like. And then number two, it's the opportunity for guys like Litsky and guys like Merrick and a number of the players that come from Texas to be able to come back and play in their home state, which wouldn't be possible without that. And so she had pulled the team aside at the end and kind of gave that whole speech, and it was really cool, and the players all loved it, and it makes total sense as well. And so I think there's just a lot of goodwill that has come from that event each year, and seeing it kind of both grow in the clinic side and grow from, just like Chad was saying, of the actual spectator side. There's actual interest, and there's actual like, oh, this is an event that we enjoy and that we want to go to.
Yeah.
So that part's been cool.
For lack of better words, the Litskis give a shit. Like they just care about creating good events, and like obviously there's a ton of people in the space trying to make events go and make money off the sport, but the Litskis give a shit. Like they care about pushing it in the right way, and that's the people that should be running events in the space. Like they did a great job when they were there. So
totally, yeah. It's not a moneymaker event for them at all, right? It's all to fundraise for First Point.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, like they kill it with their events because they themselves and the group that they have together kills it. They're very on top of it. But this event is a passion project
for sure, and
it's paying dividends in my mind, right? At least getting to see it from year 1 to year 3 and watching them grow and watching what they've done. It is a very cool thing to see, and so that part was awesome. And then just obviously it's Austin. Like Austin, Texas is a great city.
Place. Yeah.
So much fun, so many things to do, so many different places to kind of bounce around to, and see and enjoy, both as as a spectator, as a fan, even as a coach in that setting. It's a lot of cool things that we got to see there. So.
For sure.
I mean, if you're just a spectator, right, you get to hang out in Austin. Like, let's say you're not from Texas, you're just one of these teams coming in, right? So like Rafa was there, right, and you're coming from Colorado. You get to hang out in Austin, cool, roam around, all that good stuff, and you get to watch like pretty kick-ass volley.
Yeah.
Right, like, oh, I get to watch Ohio State and UCLA and Penn State and Stanford and Ball State and SC. Like, a lot of these kids don't have that opportunity to ever see that live.
Yeah.
Right. So I mean, just like the level of talent that was out there, you get to see some of the best players in the country, right? Kids that are going to be on the national team in a few years.
Yep. All
kind of under one roof. I mean, yeah.
Secondary of it too is like you're bringing the college programs in, and that club tournament is going on. So now those college coaches are walking around, right? They're in that event, and they're walking around and they're looking at those players that are there.
Yeah.
So now that perspective has widened, and that opportunity is already just like they're taken care of. They're already there. So it's
maybe someone's in the building that
can
help Stanford side out.
Right. It's an easy plug, and so those things are longer term plays, but they're going to pay dividends down the road as long as it continues to kind of to keep on rolling. Right. And the momentum continues.
This is also probably a call for more event owners to bring men's teams into their events.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
it's such a good.
It makes so much sense.
It like the Litskis killed it. Like this is such a good look for event owners to bring like good events, like make their event look more pro by bringing pro into your event. Yeah. It is truly a way to make your event look better.
Yeah, it's not easy.
It's not easy at all, and it's cost money. Like it is not cheap, but it does progress the sport in a good way.
Yeah.
and there needs to be people in power that are doing that for the sport.
Yeah.
So
there's a good. I was thinking about First Point and kind of comparing it. The other good examples that I've seen throughout the years is actually SoCal Cup did a good one with the community colleges.
Yeah.
If you guys
that
remember
was
this.
such a
OCC.
great event.
Yeah,
We're
those
trying
guys,
yeah.
Travis's tournament that they
Yeah.
ran at OCC. That's like kind of the
And doing it on the courts next to our kids too was
Yeah.
such a cool thing.
where like our kids were walking by being like, "Oh, this is
Yeah.
the community college level is really good."
Yeah, they need to do that again.
We lost on the court that OCC was going to play Springfield on.
Yeah.
And it was tough because it wasn't a good tournament for our team. And
Yeah.
then Jared Anderson walks up to me. He's like, "What's up, coach?" And I was like,
Hey, man.
"Oh my God, there aren't that many people that can make me feel a little bit better."
Yeah, totally.
That's just the
Yeah.
best person to see in that moment.
Totally.
So, I mean, but you're just in the middle of everything, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's so cool for those guys. It's a great idea.
And it's also just one of those things where it's like that's something that most kids don't have an understanding of. A lot of kids are going to look down on a community college or that aspect of making a decision to go do that. And there are so many people that community college was the absolute perfect path. John Costi at Stanford, great example. Community college guys, goes to Santa Barbara, has a good experience, is in the volleyball world for a long time. Joe Wallace, one of our former players, goes to OCC for a year, trains, develops, gets picked up by Santa Barbara. Now one of their liberos is getting a ton of play time.
Finnegan. Yeah.
Right? Neil Fit. Yeah, so many guys that it goes through, and it may not be your first choice path, but it is a actually wonderful path for a lot of people. That
It's really, really good volley.
Yeah, that you
It's
wouldn't
high level
and you
volley.
wouldn't know that if you
No.
hadn't have seen that
No.
many kids. And so just dotting them amongst the tournament and being like, who is this team that's playing over here? Who is Long Beach City College? Oh, what is Orange Coast College? And you see that, and then all of a sudden you're like, huh,
Yeah.
that is something that looks pretty cool, or that's something that looks like something I could do. And now that option becomes a little bit more viable in your mind. So those things are really cool. The only other one that I thought of was at AAU's this past year. They did the VLA like tournament on the championship courts.
I was happy with that because we got to see Blake and we got to see Nico.
Yeah.
It was not well attended.
It was It
all.
wasn't really pushed.
Yeah.
Right, and so it wasn't a showcase in that sense. So it was
Yeah.
just a little bit more.
I would
like
be surprised if they did it again.
Yeah, I want to
Just
call
based off of like it wasn't well.
Was it
like,
just poorly
attended.
promoted,
It was-
or
Yeah,
it
maybe
wasn't.
it was.
It wasn't really promoted at all.
Yeah.
I would
Yeah,
say.
I don't
but
really know.
I don't want to call it a
Also, like,
sideshow because
high-
that seems disrespectful. But it was more like it wasn't something that they were like pushing.
Also, you're at nationals, like
Yeah.
the last thing that
Yeah,
I'm wanting
everyone's
to do.
like,
Everyone's so dialed.
Every
and,
team
like,
that should be dialed is
dialed.
They're
Yeah,
like, I'm
totally.
not going to
like I'm
watch
not.
VLA
Yeah,
right
we're
now.
going to watch film of the team we're playing tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's that.
It is a
That's a
tougher
little bit
setting.
of a different.
Next
Yeah,
on
give
the,
us
next
the
on the
clatter.
docket, still kind of on the
Next on the dock.
next on the dock, still on the kind of the Texas train, NCAA rankings.
Oh, yeah.
Did we see? Did we?
Can
see?
we talk about Ohio State really quick?
Yeah.
That was loud, I'm sure, but I was trying to be loud. You cannot jump from number 5 to number 1 based off of what you did a 5-set win against UCLA. Sorry, that is not enough for me.
Do we?
Long Beach didn't lose. Why is Ohio State number 1?
I think if you smoked them in 3,
Totally
you could be
fine.
like, "Hey, look,
No problem.
they're returning a lot of the same guys."
I watched them play this weekend. They are not this like unanimous decision on number 1.
No.
That's a number 2 or 3.
It's pretty aggressive. Yeah, you could bump
So
up somebody like Long
aggressive.
Beach and just give them time. I mean,
Sure.
like, we'll see
They're
how
going to
UCLA
lose
responds.
to somebody in the MIVA.
Yeah.
Like,
Question for you all. This was AVCA rankings, right?
no, this is coach's poll.
Exactly. That's AVCA.
Same
And
thing.
so it's coaches poll, so they're voting. And I tried to look it up. You know how they used to
Yeah,
show
Oh,
used
they
to
don't.
show
They
it.
hide that now.
Yeah,
it's
you
gone.
can't see it.
I was
Yeah.
trying to see. I was like, who voted? Like, who's
Yeah,
doing the
because
voting for
UCLA
this?
got 1, and you know who the 1 was.
Maybe. Well, look, like I agree. I don't think Ohio State should jump to the 1. I think they go up. I would have gone Long Beach
They
to
don't
the
go
1.
down.
Listen,
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
I'm
Come on.
okay with it if it's deserved. Like, going from 5 to 1 is, I saw Ohio State as number 1, and I was like, what in the world are you talking about?
Yeah.
But it's also like what, week 1.5?
Sure,
like you could have dropped UCLA to 2. You could have moved Ohio State to 3.
Can we
Long
be
Beach to
realistic
1
then?
or
And
something.
can we just say nobody's number 1 this week? Everybody's like mid.
So kind of like here you go.
Stanford to the moon.
Here's how much Ohio State got 12 of the voting coaches, 12 first place votes. UCLA got 4 and Long Beach State got 7. Ohio State was ranked 1, UCLA 2, Long Beach is 3.
Wait, how does UCLA get 2 then?
So there are 23 coaches voting.
Wait, how does that happen?
Yeah, I guess that's the
How do you
the
get
breakdown.
4 votes
classic
and then
number.
7 votes, and that you're the 2 and they're the 3?
Because other coaches voted Long Beach lower than 3 because there's it's like a point
points
system.
per
It's like a point system.
It's like Mario Kart. You get points for finishes.
Yeah.
It's like that kind
So
It's like Mario Kart.
now,
Right.
I think I got to watch the Ohio State UCLA game. It was epic. Pastor, my God, love that dude.
Real deal.
Okay, I have a question.
He is
What were we
amazing.
doing during that game? We were sitting there watching.
You guys were
it.
pre-gaming.
I was drinking a moonshine with the parents, and we were like, "Oh my God, it's going to 5. We have another 20 minutes. Get another round."
Oh wait, I was there.
I don't
with
know.
You?
I have no idea.
I don't think you guys were there.
No. I was with Eric Sullivan. That's what. Okay. I was sitting with Eric Sullivan during that.
Okay.
Right.
I don't know. I was watching the game.
Lacey and I were with the parents.
I have early onset dementia, so like that, like I have to like
Dark.
go back. No, it's like a thing. Like I just can't remember things that like where I am. So like
I'm aware. I'm married to you. I know you forget things all the time.
So like I have to. I'm just like recapping. I'm having you guys recap for myself.
Good.
Producer Larry, that's what I
also
said.
could
But
be the martini that I'm drinking, but it's fine. It's fine.
it may be a combination of factors.
Yeah.
All right. So Ohio State moves to 1. Little suspect. Not saying they're not deserving.
It's aggressive.
I wouldn't say that they're going to jump the undefeated Long Beach State, who was ranked number 2 before.
It's making a case for any person that beats number 1 needs to be number 1.
Yeah, I think it's just too early, right? It's just too early to be able to like.
I think it's just lazy on the coach's part.
Yeah,
it's like
I agree.
everybody just rolls them up to 1.
Yeah,
It's
sure.
like sure they beat
Lazy
UCLA.
coaches.
They
I
beat
agree with that.
UCLA. They're undefeated. They're the
Sure.
1. All right.
I don't know who you 23 are, but we're on to you.
That's why I went and looked. I was like, give me. I want to see because they used to tell you literally every coach that votes and what they put, so that you can nitpick it, and now they don't. So that's.
But again, it's week 1.5. Like who
Yeah.
cares? Like
Yeah.
we'll see how this pans
All
out.
right, but let's see how the top
Let's go
5
back in
rounds
like
are.
3 weeks.
We got Ohio State at 1. We got UCLA at 2. We got Long Beach State at 3. Hawaii's at 4. Grand Canyon's at 5.
I hate it all.
UCLA has lost once. Hawaii has lost once. Grand Canyon's undefeated. Stanford just outside, 6-0 at number 6. And then you've got Irvine,
Are you biased?
who's 3-1.
Do you feel a little biased right now? You feel a little like.
Am I biased? Of
Stanford
course I'm biased. I
deserve-
coach for the team.
What do you think Stanford deserves right now?
I don't care.
Ooh.
Ask me on May 4th what we deserve.
No. Let's go. Okay, but what do you think Stanford deserves right now?
Sure, 6 is fine. I don't care.
I said 4.
4.
I said 4. I was walking from the bar to the convention center with a bunch of the parents, and I said, if Stanford wins tonight, I think 4 is realistic.
Okay. I could see the case being made because Hawaii has lost to Loyola and we beat Loyola. I could see the case being made because we beat Grand Canyon last year.
Okay, sure. This is all biased.
Twice.
Shit. Whatever.
I'd put you in the top 5, and I'd probably put Hawaii at 6 or whatever then, just because of that loss.
Sure.
But I think Hawaii will find their bearings.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
They got a freshman setter.
All,
a lot of good
all of it,
pieces.
Yep.
all of it to me on the rankings is like, all right, it doesn't literally
matter.
ask me on May 4th. That's the only thing that matters.
Literally still, it's week 1.5. Nothing's changed the last 4 minutes.
Okay,
Like,
so since you're asking, number 1 for me is.
Yes, please.
you forgot who your number 1 was going to be.
No, it's not true.
All right, we'll see.
Number 1 for me is Long Beach. Just based off of they haven't like lost, right?
5-0.
And like I don't think they have enough pieces to be number 1, but like that's okay. Right now, based off of their number 1. Number 2 to me is UCLA still. Because I know that is a take, even though they just lost, and I would still put them over Ohio State.
Can I ask you a question about
Yeah.
UCLA? 'Cause
Yeah.
This is one thing that I got a little like watching them. I got a little vibe of was the post-championship, like
Hangover.
hangover or just like identity crisis.
I love an identity crisis, though. That's no problem.
Which early on, and I think Sprague gets it. He totally understands. He's trying to figure out who his liberos. He's rotating O2s, and he can afford some losses. Like, they can afford to do some stuff.
Totally.
But there definitely was, like, watching them play, there definitely was a little bit of a sense of, like, obviously just weren't as crisp as they were all of last season.
A loss early could be the best thing that ever happened to a team like that. That's totally fine. I still have UCLA as number 2. Mm-hmm. I still want to put them number 1, honestly. Like, even with a loss, like, I still want to put them number 1.
Yeah. In your, like, if you were betting
in
the
like, I
term.
have an actual education in volleyball, and UCLA is number 1.
I just thought it was interesting because you dealt with the post-championship hangover of your 17s team the following year.
No problem.
And they were like, we can't play volleyball anymore.
Yeah.
We are hungover.
Yeah. Like, it is an actual thing of, like trying to figure out what this team looks like as opposed to the team before.
They only really lost the libero, though.
Gooch was great.
And he was. But everything else is the same.
The depth that they have gives so many reasons to flip around so much. And it's hard to get some rhythm, and it's hard to get, like this is who we are.
Yep. It's
so much easier for coaches when there's just no decision-making to be had.
Yeah. No, there's a ton of decisions. Like Cooper Robinson, who didn't play a ton last year,
Zach Rama
looks legit.
And Zach Rama gets out there and looks like he is, like, flying over top of people.
Yeah, Zach Rama looks like, all right, that's a Olympic level outside hitter 100%. Right there. That makes sense. Yeah. That there's a little bit of a you got to be flipping some things around.
How kids project as opposed to how kids play right now, and connection with the team and figuring out, like, what works here. It's hard to figure out.
Yeah,
that was also really similar to what, like, Hawks was doing with Loyola, right? It was like, hey, like, we're gonna get some of the other,
to a degree.
Yeah, we've got a roster of 39 kids, right? We're gonna be on this road trip. We're gonna play 6 really tough matches. Let's just kind of see what we have.
Sure.
Right? Like, otherwise, why don't you just roll the same lineup?
Yeah, but I don't think UCLA should be worried about not getting an at-large bid.
I don't think they are. I think
Loyola should.
Loyola probably should be, right? Like,
so that's why it's different.
I'm not saying that Hawks did exactly what he should have done, but I'm just saying what happened.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, sure.
If you're UCLA, though, it's like, hey, look, I can spin the dial with a lot of these guys. Yeah. I know that Alex and Ethan can side out, right? And you have guys that are battle tested and can receive serve at that level. Rama hasn't really had that. Robinson not as much, right? And then you're trying to replace a really, really strong libero. And they have the kid from Japan, and they were double liberoing with somebody else.
The Balboa freshman outside that they kind of turned into libero, and it was, I'm blanking on his name, but he's been on the team for a couple of years.
Kid's good.
And they double liberoed, so they couldn't swap, right?
Yeah.
So once they plugged that in, that was their 2 liberos for the whole match.
Yeah.
And so those guys stuck, and then, I'm blanking on the name.
But I mean, it's
total, like, good players.
But if you're Sparrow, it's like, hey, look, like, let's see what these guys can do in real matches early in the year, knowing, right, to your point, right, that they're going to be in it at the end. And
we sound pretty MPSF biased here.
All right, UCLA number 1. You heard it here, 7th.
Yeah, so lame.
Do we have any other hot takes on the NCAA right now? After watching some teams play this weekend or anything along those lines?
Rotman still my player of the year.
Hey, that was a good pick. Got AVCA. You made that pick 2 weeks ago. First week through the season, Will Rotman, first AVCA player of the week, which is, correct me if I'm wrong, you have to win that award to be considered for player of the year, right?
I know, that's crazy to me.
Right, you have to win a player of the week award to be considered.
You have to be you have to be the player of the year in your conference to be considered for it.
Oh, really?
That's their job. Like, your job is to be ready when somebody goes down. It's how a team functions.
Exactly.
I agree with that.
And for 5 years, Adam Chang has just been doing it, like, in practice, literally never complains. Literally always doing his job.
He's great.
And he finally gets an opportunity, and he just took it. The best part, the whole thing was
Jackson. No,
within the first like 6 points.
Yeah,
there was an overpass.
Yeah,
and it goes to Chang.
Yeah,
gets the overpass kill, and I look over to Taylor, and I'm like, that was the best case scenario because Chang was so nervous before the match. He gets an early kill, and then all of a sudden, Chang
wheels are turning. Let's ride.
Chang was a monster, and he just was up earlier than any other middle and was just hitting zero tempo. And Penn State didn't give him a ton of respect early. And then all of a sudden, after set 2, he's got 5 kills on 5 swings.
Yeah.
He's got like 5 assists from the middle, setting out a system.
On a couple of those balls. That was great, yeah.
And now all of a sudden, he's got one of the top middles in the country, Toby, just commit blocking on him.
Yeah.
And we're just flowing balls around it. And we're just looking on the bench like Adam Chang.
He's
going off right now.
He's just doing his job, right? His job is not to go out and get 15 kills or whatever that they might need Toby to do at Penn State.
Yep.
But his job was, hey, man, be up super early.
Yep.
Demand the rock. Set the ball in transition if it comes to you. Like, just don't do anything crazy.
Yep.
We're giving you a few of these opportunities.
And the other great part about Adam and his situation, we've used him as a serving sub multiple times, right? We used him all of last year as a serving sub. And now all of a sudden he's getting 3 rounds of serving or 2 to 3 rounds of serving each set, and he's scoring.
Yeah.
And it was a huge plus.
He's got a good serve.
Yeah. And he was just a total unknown. And so you're just like, you're hoping and praying that it's just going to be good for him. And he went out and he made lemonade of lemons. It was beautiful. And a single tear shed from my eye as the match ended. All right, here we go. Waving hands again. Cutting all this out.
Everybody wave your hands. In the air like you just
Cut
don't
this
care.
out, people.
Everybody left.
Thanks, Bob.
Can you go left, Matt? Left. That's right. Right? Left. Right? Left.
Cut it. All right, here we go. SoCal. What an intro. SoCal Cup Recap. Here we go. We go
15s?
We're going 15s first.
Yeah, youngest, oldest.
All right. It was like the feeling of when you are riding a bicycle and the chain is like not fully on, and you're trying to ride, and you're like, no, if I keep on riding, it'll click.
It'll catch. It'll catch.
It'll click and all be smooth. And it never clicked. It was just like constant, like, we're going. 3-point run against us. 3-point run against us. We'd have to get something back. So we ended up losing 14-16. The chain came off the bicycle. And we went out, we had an early exit in the first round of gold. It was still like we finished in gold. That was a positive, but it was very clear, like after the break, we like went away from a ton of things that we'd been working on, and we were not able to kind of get back to it. So there's plenty for us to look forward to for the summer portion.
So for us, it wasn't so much up and down. It was a little bit more down and then up really late. And so our guys, we came in just a little bit flat. You know, we ran into a smash team out of Boston that, you know, I don't know if they're just starting their season or whatever. I mean, we had the 2 teams that we lost to on day 1 that knocked us out were both in gold, and they were strong teams, and we were just not. We did not approach it as if they were capable of beating us. And then you just call it what it is. It's like, hey, look, man, this just sucks. This isn't what we wanted. This isn't what the parents wanted. This isn't what we want as a coaching staff or as players or anything, because we're all competitive. No one's out here trying to lose. And then once we kind of made that switch, honestly, it was one of the best tournaments that we have had this year. We had so much fun, both like on and off the court with the kids, with the parents. Everybody was able to, I think, really enjoy the progress this group has made so far this fall season. And being out of gold, right, actually allowed us to work on some of the big rocks that we had been tinkering with in practice the last few days. So our team that hadn't run a lot of BIC, a lot of D, anything like that, we were starting to run a lot more back row attack. Guys who weren't comfortable with their spin serves, getting back there and just ripping it. It allows you to play your entire roster really without fear. It was what it was, and hopefully we walk away from this with a lesson like, hey man, like we need to warm up hard for that 8 a.m. match, right? Because that could be the one that you need to survive in advance when you get to Orlando, July 3rd or whatever it is.
So 17s.
Great tournament.
We won the tournament, right? Yeah. Won the tournament. Good tournament for us.
On what standard? I don't know what you're talking about.
It was a good tournament, right? Like, could have been worse. Definitely could not have been better. Actually, it could have been better. We could have played good the entire time. But, like, every time I've ever won a tournament, we've been bad at times in the tournament. So very on
for dramatic effect.
Very on brand for me.
Yes.
We lost the first match of the tournament, and
that's so wild to me.
In dramatic fashion.
Was it in 2 or 3?
It was in 2.
It was in 3.
We got absolutely shit on.
Like 3.
No, it wasn't.
In 3.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was in 3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember walking up.
I also have early onset dementia, so I don't really remember. I just remember losing, and then
3rd game wasn't close.
Okay, so losing in 2.5.
We won the first game after being down pretty big. Stole the first game. Won like 26-24, and then got beat.
26-24. Oh yeah.
And that's kind of what that's what 15s did in the first round of gold.
Didn't play particularly well in the second.
Sure.
Yeah. And then wasn't really competitive in the third.
Yeah. Okay. I don't remember that at all.
So you start off the tournament with just a
it's just
holy moly gut punch.
Yeah. Well, we also hit negative on every match. Like every set. Yeah. Like, yeah, it was bad. Then we had a 4 seed in our pool that was a 1 seed overall.
Yes.
They ended up placing first.
What was their team name last year?
They were San Juan.
It was San Juan, so Puerto Rico, but they all switched to GVA.
Yeah. And he sent an email to the tournament being like, listen, we're not a 4 seed. And the tournament never sent him an email back. And I was like, no, you send me an email. And then I will get a switch because I never want to see you as a 4 seed ever again in my
that was a tough 4 seed.
Yeah.
They must have finished silver.
Who's our...
I don't remember your other one.
1-2.
Coast. No. OCVC.
OCVC. And then we beat OCVC in 2.
Had to win in 2 to advance.
Yes. And we did. It was just like weird vibes on day 1, right? Like weird vibes.
Outside on the Puerto Rican team was
the best player in the gym.
Best player in the pool.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that kid was legit.
No, very legit.
That was a very large. Like Puerto Rican kids, it's like normally you get like a 6'1", 6'2" outside.
No, 6'4".
That dude was
legitimate.
Big. Yeah, that was a big.
Yeah. I would say that like weird vibes on day 1, and we were going into day 2 with like some stuff, right?
Tension. There was tension.
Yeah, it was just like not
nervous energy.
Yeah, it was just like a little weird, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we go into day 2 and we are the 4.
Yeah.
In the pool.
Which
right?
Underrated schedule.
Oh, absolutely. I was just about to say the same thing.
Pretty good schedule. Off, play.
No.
Play, which you don't love.
Off, play. Yeah,
you don't love.
But also get warmed up. Beat your number 1 game is your most important game of the day. Great, awesome. Number 2, okay. But then like 3, must win. Sure. We knew what we were getting into.
And that 3rd game, you play a team that is also coming off of back-to-back. So
Correct.
You get them on the back-to-back on the end.
So like,
and then you're off.
And then you ref last.
Oh, you ref last. Okay.
Like kind of
3
great
seeds.
schedule.
3 seeds the best schedule.
Kind of great schedule, ish, for what you're trying to do. So we knew our first was aggressively important.
Mm-hmm.
We have AZ Fear as a like hot team that goes hot and cold.
Yeah. They were in gold. They were in gold in December.
Yeah.
Took them extremely seriously.
Took it very seriously. Beat them in 2.
Mm-hmm.
Then got absolutely wrecked by Rockstar.
Little tough rotation, and then
wrecked.
Yeah.
Got wrecked by Rockstar.
A little bit served off the court.
Yes. And we were like, fine, whatever. Jekyll and Hyde team, great, awesome. Lose the games you don't want, win the games you do. Cincy attack, weird vibes in that game, right? Like, this is a must-win in 2 for us.
They had a really emotional win against
right before
Rockstar.
Yes.
And then they also had an emotional win against AZ Fear.
So they're 2-0.
2-0, both wins in 3.
And they go into our game, and it's like quiet, right?
Yeah, we played really well.
And we played great. And beat them in 2. Yep, beat them in 2. And took second in the pool.
Oh, damn. That team was 2-0 when you beat them?
Yeah.
Wow.
They'd beat both teams.
So they got screwed on math?
They got screwed
on math.
Yeah.
That's the worst.
Yeah.
But we knew going into that is
if we go 2-0, because of 3 and 3, yeah. We did a lot of math both days. Like, so much math.
That's usually a bad sign.
So much pen and paper that was going into, like...
A lot of trips to the tournament desk.
No trips to the tournament desk. Or you did. But, like parents coming up to me being like, I've already done the math. And I'm like, yeah, I know. I've already talked to this person, this person, this person. Like, it was the whole thing. So, the vibes are weird in that game, right?
Yeah, I think something about losing a match on day 1, like your mindset switches to just totally survive in
survival.
Advance.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't feel the need to take first anymore because we already didn't take first.
This was not about
it's just like
our path.
Get through.
How do we stay in gold?
It was get through the entire time.
And like we'll see what happens in gold.
Yeah.
Because like anything can happen when you
Sure.
get to gold.
As we know. So we get out in second again on day 2. And we go against SC Legends.
Who had not lost a match.
Who had not lost a match. And also, we got out at 9:45 on day 2. And we had a work at 8, play at 9 schedule, which is brutal.
Yeah, it's tough.
Brutal.
PM
to AM.
That's the tough part about PM Wave.
And
is that you have to go AM the last
and
night.
I told them, everybody is in this same place. Like, everybody here is the same exact, but, like, work at 8, play at 9 sucks.
Yeah, it's not great.
But we get to SC Legends and we look at film of SC Legends and we're like, this is a gift. We are better than this team. And we were. Like, every single kid on this team showed up on time, ready to go, like warming up.
You made a comment that this is like the most locked before the match.
This is the most locked we've ever been.
The bags were like
the bags were lined up.
Sure.
Yeah. Everything's a straight line,
like
nice and neat.
Everybody is so like, I'm gonna do my job, because also we have set this expectation over the last 4 tournaments of like, you are not doing your job. Like, this is not how we prepare. This is not how we do things. Like, this is the way that we're supposed to do things. And it's hard to get kids from different states and different places on the same page all the time. It takes time.
Yeah, I mean, tournaments are like the biggest place where you guys make strides.
It's the only place where we make strides. Like, that's where we thrive. So, and not just where we thrive, it's where we fail and we teach lessons, and it's important for us. So we get to that game and everybody is like, I bought an extra breakfast burrito that day, being like, somebody has not eaten. I'm going to make sure that somebody's eaten. And I threw the breakfast burrito away. Like, that's how, like, we were.
Never got offered a
Would have accepted.
Also, you were like, I'll meet you there. You also had a baby there. The baby was great, too. The baby helped us. Great. You're the baby. Johnny's the baby over there. So.
Clarence.
SC Legends, Greg Faulkner, former Big Bay coach. Great, awesome. Get through it, no problem. Awesome. Played well. NB Surf next.
Really good team. Super strong.
Very strong team, physical team. Absolutely housed us in the first.
Kind of got rolled.
Got rolled in the first. I'm a big believer in a lull teams to sleep type of move. You know? Like, let's get rolled in the first.
Sneak attack on them.
Like, let's get rolled in the first. Winning the second is hard.
Yeah.
And, like, anything can happen in the third, kind of like gold. Like, you make it to gold, like, who knows what's going to happen? Like, I love a good little sneak attack thing there, right?
Yeah, third wasn't close.
Third was not close. We were.
Oh, you guys were
But
hot.
we're like
in third.
hot at that point. Like, if you get hot, who cares?
They couldn't get the ball onto our side.
Right. Like, who cares when you're hot?
That honestly,
Four hands over the net
honestly,
on every
the
set.
the block
Just
the
like-
blocking in that third set against MB
Zach
serve
Flynn was
was-
like,
Everybody.
yeah.
Middles had a couple blocks.
Yeah,
was
like it was
primo.
great. Okay, so MB Surf, we get shut down in the first, and then we like are lulling them to sleep in the second, and then we get hot in the third. Great, awesome. We watch 6-3-0 Coast, which I thought 6-3-0 was going to win. Which
they were
honestly,
up. They were up.
Honestly, I wanted 6-3-0. We had scrimmaged them. I was like, I want you guys. Great. Coast ended up winning in 3. We had a bunch of time before the match. Coast does the beta bay cheer before playing us.
I knew
Great move.
they lost the second they
The
did
moment that they did that, I was like,
1, 2,
See ya.
3, 4,
hey,
coast to coast.
I was like, you guys are the
I was
worst.
like,
Okay, awesome.
We've got you now.
Yeah, great. We go up 7-0. They take a timeout. We roll them in the first. Honestly, it wasn't like super close. I mean, it was a little closer in the second.
It was close. We got out to a lead, and then they stormed back a little bit, but then pulled away again at the end. I think it was.
We were just like
25-20.
playing good
You
volleyball.
guys looked very in charge in the Coast match. And I do think that I was like watching your players because I'm sitting there on the sidelines and I'm watching your players, and some of them were like looking over there like, did they just do what I think they did?
Yeah.
And there was just this like
It was
looking
so
to each
dumb.
other and being like,
Yeah, cool.
yeah, we're gonna take care of business
Yeah.
now.
No, we were very locked on that. Like, Coast was not a bad
and
thought
then
for
Coast,
us.
and I've seen that team play before, and they've played much higher
That
levels.
team has beaten our team before. Like,
For
Middles.
sure.
yeah.
Their middles were.
It was an interesting matchup for us because it was middle heavy.
We put a lot of emphasis into that going into it.
We
Like,
did.
who do we want?
Yeah.
And like, what do we want to see? And it was like, I just think if our outsides help a little bit to make sure that we have hands over the net, we're going to
Which
be able
was
to
a
play.
very similar Stanford Penn State matchup of like middle heavy.
Being ready, a lot of
Just
bunch
being ready
read.
to help and
We should
like-
be able to pick up some nice plays behind them.
Yeah.
sure.
What I thought you guys did a really good job that kind of negated the middles was you guys just served so well. Like
We did serve
the
well.
7-0 run was Rafa jump serving,
Yeah.
and they were off the net
Yeah.
for 6 of the 7.
Well, yes, being off the net when you're a middle heavy team is a nice
Exactly.
way to do
and
things.
exactly,
for
and
sure.
the one time they're on the net, you have Max who's in there and he
Sure.
help blocks. We get a touch,
Sure.
transition kill.
But also,
Yeah.
we were running the offense that we started to figure out that we wanted to run,
Yeah.
which is hard when your setter isn't in the state and like you're not really like there's only this projection of up with this team of when you have a setter like Rafa to run an offense the way that we're running it. Like it is.
Yeah, I mean, at tournaments, you guys just get so
Yes.
much better because
Yes.
you have so much time together.
Yes. So roll through Coast, go into the finals.
Hot at this
We
point. Like,
lost Chad, and we
Shalanji.
we went
we don't have the backup. Just call it what it is.
we
I mean, it was a very similar setting of the NBA Surf game. Like first set was
it was very similar setting to every 17s anything that I've ever done in my life of like
first
let's
set
get rolled in the
was
first.
real flat.
Yeah, like flat and like settle in.
Got him right where we want him.
And then like just lull them to sleep.
I will say, watching from the sidelines.
You were not on the sidelines. You were on the bench.
Yes, I was on the
great.
sideline on the bench watching
Okay.
the rock star opposite
Yeah.
in set 1
Yeah.
Zioned his shoe. Like blew
Oh,
out,
yeah.
out of it?
Yeah.
blew out
yeah.
his shoe.
Yeah. Okay.
Like,
that was
right
the thing.
here, right
like,
here, from
full
here to
on
here.
blew out his shoe.
His shoe was
Yeah.
had popped
like
off of
popped,
the sole.
popped the shoe.
Do you like find a kid on the bench with the same size?
And so
No.
he stayed in and he was trying to
He
figure it out, but I was like, I saw that happen. I was like, that's interesting. Like, wonder how that plays out. Sure enough, he got subbed out at some point.
Yeah.
Can we get the guy some
He-
tape?
and then he came back in. I couldn't pick up if he had like
Things were
changed shoes
happening.
or what was going on,
Yeah,
but it was
yeah.
like
things were definitely happening.
He certainly did not play the same way he played as the first time. Not saying it was just the shoe.
We also did not play the same way.
Correct.
As
we also played.
Time.
We also played much better.
So we start putting the ball in the net a little bit. We've got Marcelo jamming and jamming.
At this point, the tempo is what we had imagined it being on day one.
Oh, it was fast.
Yeah,
it was fast. It was one-on-one the whole time. Marcelo is two-hand jamming, wiping, throwing.
Jamming like...
He is Uroš Kovacevic out there in a 17-year-old's body.
Like, full-on two-hand putting the ball down so fast that...
Yeah, he was playing international volleyball.
So the parents on the other side are not happy.
Livid.
Like,
there is a 40-year-old that is in the stands, and he is beside himself.
Legitimately yelling at a 16-year-old kid.
Yeah.
Like he wanted to murder the kid.
Screaming, hit the ball, with some expletives in there. And Marcelo is just like...
And honestly, Marcelo's chirping back at him,
and
I am full about letting the kid go.
He was getting a kill, staring right into the stands at the dad, who's yelling at him, going, "What are you gonna do about it?"
Yeah, and honestly, with the way that we were doing things, I was so good with it.
I mean, yeah, you can't be yelling at a 16-year-old, and then,
and also expecting a 16-year-old to not defend what he's doing and what I am all for it.
My favorite part, if I can interject on it, was in set 3.
He did. He interjected a lot.
We'll allow it. Thank you. Set 3, Marcelo gets a fast tempo ball set out to the outside, and he goes up and he swings and Yahtzees a ball down the line. I was like, this is the rangiest shit I've ever seen in my life. Yeah. So he's been all game just like this. The block is struggling. He is jamming into the seam. He is power tipping down the line. Yeah. He's two-handed wiping off the block. He's doing all these things, and the blocker's just trying to figure it out. And so fast from the setter coming out of the hands, he Yahtzees this ball, full-on swings. And he lets out all of the emotion into the stands.
Yeah.
Rockstar calls a timeout, and he just comes into the huddle. Just...
You middle-aged blank, blank, blank. And I was crying.
Man. More harsh than that.
It was incredible.
But yeah, man. I mean, the kid is getting yelled at by an adult. Yeah. And rightfully so. He's emotional about it.
There's no world that I would ever yell at a kid like that.
Yeah, it was
wild. A child like that. Like if a child of mine is getting yelled at, I'm going to let the child go.
But then I look at Marcel and I'm like,
keep doing what you're doing.
Dude's backing it all up right now, so I'm gonna let him keep doing what he's doing.
No, we were up 14-7, and it was at that point, I was like, we're winning SoCal Cup here.
Yeah,
it was actually wild.
And Marcelo was your OH3. Pretty much all of the fall.
Going into the tournament, he was OH3.
OH3, and he finishes the season
as MVP of the tournament. Yeah.
From OH3 to MVP. Feel good story.
Yeah. It was a upward trajectory tournament for 17-1s. And we are happy about it.
All right. High school rankings. Boys, NorCal High School. It's coming up. I think to tease what we're about to do with our top 10. So start with who we've got as maybe the top 3.
Okay, my number 1.
Yeah.
Is Bishop O'Dowd.
Oh. Okay. Bishop O'Dowd.
It is a hot take, but I don't care.
But didn't lose anyone really.
Bishop O'Dowd has Cameron Costi, Rowan, and Toby. Mm-hmm. 3.
And they have Will Mullen, who also sets for 18 Club.
And that is just a recipe for kids that can do anything.
Mm-hmm.
That can win high school.
That's 4 very good players.
Yeah.
Obviously Harker number 1. Not even close. We're running out.
Harker number 1.
Names.
New head coach though. Is this new head coach gonna live up
Yeah,
to the storied program that is.
He matches both the hype and the story. He enjoys an excellent shabu, and that's key.
Guy.
That's key because that's bonding with your assistant coaches.
Yep.
There's a lot of value.
Chamber game.
Yeah, there's just a lot to that, right?
I mean, chamber game.
That's a big plus.
And you're just gonna have a coaching staff who's super into it. Yep. Parker, obviously, in my top 3.
Okay, great.
Valley's got to be in my top 3.
Yeah, I got it.
Sure.
Greg Lee and Alden.
Greg Lee, Alden, Andy Zoo. They have.
They keep really the same team.
They also added Elon.
It's a good pickup.
Oh yeah.
Elon's the other outside for the team. He's got to miss like 7 games, but like that's a legit.
No harm, no foul.
That's a legit. And then Harry Shee at the libero. That is a legitimate team. That's a club team right there.
So I think Harker, Valley, and then I would either take Midi.
Closer.
I could also buy the Costi, Toby, Rowan. I could also buy the Bishop O'Dowd. Yeah.
Are you willing to do what it takes to win, Dan?
Maybe.
Put that NIL money in.
It was for robotics or like the debate team, maybe.
Okay, cut.
Not for boys volleyball. I love you, Dan.
Producers telling me cut over here.
Wave your hands back and forth like you just don't care again.
And on that note, let's cut to the yellow text on the black screen. It's